I know that I shall meet my fate somewhere among the clouds above. Those that I fight I do not hate. Those that I guard I do not love. My country is Kiltartan cross, my countrymen Kiltartans poor. No likely end could bring them loss or leave them happier than before. Nor law nor duty bade me fight, nor public men nor cheering crowds. A lonely impulse of delight drove to this tumult in the clouds. I balanced all, brought all to mind. The years to come seemed waste of breath, a waste of breath the years behind. In balance with this life, this death.
It is a particular Irish airman that Yeats has got in mind. It's actually Major Robert Gregory, who was the son of Yeats's great patron, great grand lady, Lady Augusta Gregory.
Major Robert Gregory was shot down flying alone, it was believed, by enemy fire. Later it emerged he'd been shot down by friendly fire by the Italians, who were allies in the First War.
Ireland wasn't actually at war with Germany, so the fact this Anglo-Irishman has gone over to fight on an individual impulse is made much of within this poem.
Those that I fight I do not hate. Those that I guard I do not love.
The speaker of the poem is interested in neither Ireland nor England as a country, but the country of Kiltartan Cross, this spot so small it barely exists on the map in the west of Ireland, and the countrymen Kiltartans poor.
My country is Kiltartan cross, my countrymen Kiltartans poor.
The word that comes to mind with this poem, and it's a word that's used twice within the body of the poem, is the word balance, or some version of it. I balanced all, brought all to mind, then in balance with this life, this death. And it's a poem that operates, I think, almost entirely on some notion of balance. Rhetorically, it's a poem that's poised between an idea such as those that I fight, I do not hate, those that I guard, I do not love.
There's also this idea of balancing in the air in a flying machine, so the balancing of the plane, the balancing of right and wrong, of life and death, all come together, so he's sort of hanging at this still point.
There's an exuberance about that moment where the real reason, as it were, for the Irish Airman's being up there in the air, it has to do with a lonely impulse of delight, which is a line that could easily have been written by William Wordsworth, describing some moment at which he was transformed by a meeting in the wilderness or some aspect of nature, but which is brought to bear here on the business of plane flying.
He's gone off to fight in these new machines for a country that's not his own, mostly because he wants to. And Yeats, in these later years, is very interested in action. He's a writer. He's somebody that sits and watches. And he's very interested in perfection in action, in people taking control of their own lives and acting often violently.
Although it's not a poem in praise of war, it does seem to be celebrating a certain sort of man who'll go out on the edge, who'll put himself at risk, who'll dice with death. Almost like a knight or a samurai, and that whole adrenaline rush is something that Yeats seems to be drawn to.
A lonely impulse of delight drove to this tumult in the clouds. I balanced all, brought all to mind. The years to come seemed waste of breath, a waste of breath the years behind, in balance with this life, this death.